Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody? Hopefully, we get a few more chatters today. Last couple times, I just chatted to myself, and I didn't get any chatters. So, what the fuck should we talk about today? Good question. So, I was watching one of these gold guys, and Rick Rude, I think, and he's saying how it's propaganda, the BRICS countries, and I'm like, hey, what an idiot. He says, well, we don't have any gold. Just shows how stupid he is. Well, China's got 60,000 tons. I think that's enough to have a gold standard when we had it with 8,000 tons. And then he sits there. He says, well, good luck trying to claim it. You'd have to go to Russia, and good luck getting gold for the BRICS. I'm looking at him like, what are you on, drugs? Well, obviously he is. I mean, first of all, you wouldn't have to go to Russia. You didn't have to come here to get gold when we were on the gold standard. And the idea of the gold standard is that the money's backed by gold, so you have faith in the money. Not that you're necessarily going to change the money in. So if I got a $100 bill and it's worth $25 in gold, I'm not really going to cash it in for the $25 of gold. Just knowing that it's backed by gold means they can't inflate. So I'm much more confident in my dollar. That's really what you're doing. It doesn't have to be 100% back, and you don't have to go to Russia for it. It'll be all over the world. You can go to Switzerland, and I'm sure there'd be ways to cash it in and get gold for it. I mean, this guy's thoughts, he's so stupid. And people have him on his show. I would never have him here. I mean, first of all, I don't like him. And secondly, he's a credit analyst selling ETFs. Why would I want anybody like that misinforming the public? I mean, he's selling ETFs. You should never buy ETFs. They're paper gold. They're not real. So anyway, you get guys like that on, and it's just, why is he saying it? What he has no idea. He's trying to poo-poo that, oh, they're just talking. They won't. Well, we heard Alligator and Andrew Maguire both say absolutely it's going to happen. They're competing with the U.S., and the only way you can compete is to have a gold-backed currency. Then nobody will want the U.S. dollar. And again, he taught the U.S. dollar this and the U.S. dollar that. Not anymore. That's like saying, the 79 Steelers. Well, they got Ham and Franco, and then 80, they lost Joe Green and Wagner, and then slowly, Franco retires, and then, yeah, they were great in 78, 79. They weren't even that great. They were good. And then after 80 hit, they were all downhill. Here comes Montana. And then they were good for a while, and then Montana retires. And then they're not good. And Dallas has Emmett and Irvin, and then they go. So to say that the U.S. is so strong is just fiction. We used to be strong. So did the Romans. So this guy in the Roman Empire would be like, we're Rome. Nothing can happen to us. So that's why it's hard for me to watch any of these morons. None of them have any idea. It's just they're talking and they have no clue. So I was looking at my eBay today. Hello. And I had a good idea for class. So what do we talk about here? Well, we talk about everything. So I'm going to explain using baseball cards because I think baseball cards is interesting for everybody. So we're going to talk about everything here. Everything these morons talk about, we're going to talk about in English. Okay. First, let's talk about what is the market. Well, a market is what the buyer and the seller come up with. How do you determine a market? So let's talk free market, not the corrupt communist market where the government controls it. So in a free market, the invisible hand, no government regulations, me and you. That's it. So in a market of me and you have a Joe Montana rookie card. And if it's not graded, it's worth $1,000. Right? So you say, I got a Joe Montana rookie card, but it isn't graded, and I want $2,000 for it. I'm going to have to buy this card. This guy's got a PSA 10 for $11.99. What's wrong? See, here's like, what's wrong with this card? That it's a PSA 10 for $11.99. Something's got to be not kosher. Let's go to this card. Here's $1,000, and it's not graded. You can see it's just the card. So he's setting the market. He says, you know what? I'll sell it to you for $1,000. If I buy it, we've set the market. Right now I'm in the open, not the sold. So this is how a market becomes a market. I put something up that is there demand for. Do I want a Montana rookie card that's not graded? So he says 1,000. Now, is it really a 9? Or he says, well, it's a 9 or a 10. Okay, well, these are what 10s are going for, 100,000 and 125,000. Two different markets, but still similar. So the question is there a market for a $100,000 Montana rookie card or 125? Well, there is, because it's been sold for that. That's why these guys are selling it. So they found the market based on what a buyer and a seller have agreed on. That's a market. Somebody sells something, somebody buys it, and they determine the price. And as the price goes up and down, the market goes up and down. So I know I've seen this sell for 100. Excuse me. So that's what a market is. It's what a buyer and a seller can conduct free trade on. Free trade is, I'm going to trade you my card for $100,000. You give me the $100,000. Okay. Now, if I agree, that's the market. Now this card's worth $100,000 in the market. If I agree on 125, I'd be stupid if I could buy it for 100. Now, here's where the bells go off. No wonder. This is an 82. I'm sorry. This isn't his rookie card. This is because I knew I had it. That's why I'm like questioning, why is it $11.99? It's the 82 card. Okay, that made sense. So there's a market for the 82 card. I have 4 of those cards. I got to get them graded, but so he's trying to make that market. So there's all these markets, and it's simply where the buyer and seller agree to, I will give you so much, and if you agree to sell it for that price, we have a market. You might not agree to sell it for that price. I might only want to give you $700 for the second year Montana. You want $1,200. That's a little high. We don't have a market. The market is when the buyer and the seller meet. So here's a $125,000 Montana rookie. And here's $100,000 Montana. Now, I know they sold for this. So the market for the Montana rookie PSA 10 is that. Why? Because the buyer and the seller have agreed. He's selling it. I'll buy it. I want it. I can't find it. PSA 10s are rare. I will give you $100,000 for the Montana rookie card. And that's what you have. That's a market. And it's all over the place. It's for everything. It's for Kleenex. I got a box of Kleenex, my Canadian club. And you're searching for the market on each thing. And the way you get it is by putting out a price and seeing if anybody buys it. And as a seller, I'm looking to make the most I can for it while still selling it. As a buyer, I'm trying to buy it for as cheap as possible. But the more harder it is for something to be found, the more limited in supply, like the Montana rookie, then the harder it is to find, the more I'll pay for it. Because if I want it and I can't find it and I got to pay $100,000 for it, then I got to pay $100,000 for it. That's the market, because now we come into supply demand. And that's what supply demand is. There's very few of these cards. And if you want one, you're going to have to pay a lot. What does that sound like to us? Our good friends, the dollars. So if this was very limited, it would be worth this. But it's not very limited. This is in great supply, way too much supply. So this turns it into, let's see. Let's see. So here's a PSA HO Montana, and it goes for $12.05 because there's a lot of A's. So you can see when it's plentiful, it only sells for $12. That's all. Well, it's easy to get. It's a PSA 8, so the demand for an 8 goes down, so the price goes down. So the more you print, the less it's worth. Obviously, they printed a lot of 1983 Joe Montana PSA 9s going for $25. So that's my principle. If something's oversupplied and there's an overabundance, so PSA 9s 1983, $25, that's like this. You've printed so much that just doesn't have a value. Gold, on the other hand, has this not a lot of supply and huge demand, but it's being held down. You don't have a free market in that. You don't have what I'm willing to buy it for is a lot more than $2,000 an ounce, but they sell it at $2,000 because they don't know what the real market is. So that's why they're selling it at $2,000 an ounce. It's not the real market. So that's the difference. So something that is limited goes for $100,000. Very limited, very few. But something that is not limited, a 1984 PSA 8, where there's a lot, it's only $12. Mostly because there's not the demand. There's not a lot of demand for PSA 8s. It's PSA 10s. That's how the market works. Very limited, high demand, high price. That's what gold is. Something that's not as limited, bigger supply, less demand, the price goes down. So that's where you get supply and demand from. So supply and demand is simply if there's a little of something and there's good demand, the price is high. If you've printed too much, which cuts the demand, then the price goes down. So the price is down on this because you printed so much. It's very easy to obtain. So the price is down on that, right? My girlfriend Jenna's in Berlin now, and she says it's very expensive here. Yeah, because of the inflation. The U.S. dollar is only worth 89 cents per euro in Germany. So I gave her $200. She only gets 175 for the 200. I thought the U.S. dollar was so strong and powerful. Why isn't it? For 200, she should get 220, 230 euro. She's only getting 189. It's ridiculous. Why is it? Where's the value of the U.S. dollar? That's where it really shows you there's no value, is against the euro, which is highly printed. And that's going out. It's worth more than the dollar, which is scary. So is the Swiss franc, shows the British pound. They're all worth more than the dollar, at least on these phony FX markets. Well, now let's introduce inflation into the scheme. We have this about 10, 15% inflation. They call it 3, but it's only on certain items. And when you look at everything, it's about 10, maybe 15. Don't kid yourself. Don't think it's all done 3%. We fixed it because we raised interest rates to 5%. What a bunch of horse shit. Because inflation is you printed it. Well, you didn't get rid of it. You've still overprinted it. So if you still overprinted it, it's still worth nothing. So how? Because prices don't go out. So let's go to this. Last year or 2 years ago, this was $100,000 for this Montana card. You had inflation, but the price didn't go anywhere. It was $100,000 2 years ago. It's $100,000 now. Well, I thought, isn't inflation an increase in the price? No, it's an increase in this, making this worthless. Has nothing to do with the Montana at $100,000. Not only that, but we saw it at 125. What's deflation? So according to these morons, deflation would make this card only worth 75,000. But wait a minute. This auction is ongoing right now. It's still 100,000. And if we look at the other screen, it's 125. Wait a minute. I thought there was deflation, which was bringing the prices weren't going up. They were going down. No, they're not going down. This is why I argue so much about deflation's absolutely meaningless. It's all about the market. You get 100 grand, you get 125 grand for the card. What is deflation? I don't see the prices going down. I see the dollar going down. If anything, these cards, the 100,000 is actually worth more because you're going to pay in inflated dollars. So you're getting 100 grand for it. You should get 110 grand, but the price isn't going down. Maybe the second guy, the 125, wants his inflated dollars. So he's asking, he bought it for 100, he wants 125. But according to the morons, deflation should lower this price. This should now be selling at 70,000 because the value of the assets are going down. Prices are going down. What the fuck are they talking about? This hasn't changed. If anything, it's gone up. So this is an asset in deflation that hasn't gone down. What the fuck are they talking about? Now, here's their problem with their deflation. Because of inflation, as I've said, you've had to raise interest rates. In fact, the only time I sneeze is here. You've had to raise interest rates because if I want to loan somebody money at 20 grand, I want 25 back. And I'm going to get inflated dollars. So I got to charge a higher interest rate to get my 25 back. So I got to loan you 20, but I got to get 15% to get 25. Because there's inflation, I got to raise my interest rates. Well, what's going to happen? Nobody's going to want to borrow from me. They won't be able to afford it. That's what's happening with cars, and that's what's happening with houses. The two most interest rate sensitive things that require interest rates Neither of them are doing anything because, if anything, car sales are down, house sales are down, and the prices are going down, which they're calling deflation, is because there's no demand. So if you want to sell the house, you got to lower it. Now, I don't have to lower the price of the Montana. It's still 100,000. These prices haven't gone down. If anything, they've gone up, went to 125. I saw Jerry Rice today. Do you think it's just Joe Montana? Here's a Jerry Rice, 75,000. But wait, and it might be in the sold one. Yeah, let me check the sold. I tried putting in my watch list so I could go right to it, but I think once it's sold, I can't. Jerry Rice rookie card sold for $140,000. I like the $139,999. Yeah, because we wouldn't want to pay $140. That is sold July 10th. You can see sold July 10th. Jerry Rice, 140,000. Okay, so tell me about the deflation now. This card I saw before at 100 grand. It's now going for 144. Explain deflation to me. Price is dropping. That price didn't drop. So again, my argument with these idiots on deflation is it's all about the market. It depends what you're selling. If you're trying to sell a house with higher interest rates, so the cost is higher, then it becomes supply and demand. And then is there enough demand to warrant the house? So if I pay $400,000 for a house, my interest rate now went to 10%. Can I sell the house for $400,000? It depends. I might be able to if I get a buyer, but most of the buyers can't afford it. So I'm going to have to go down to 300 because of the higher interest rate, and that'll still work out to 400,000. The cars, the Toyota, the guy's telling me it's $1,000 a month now for, the car payment out of Camry. Yeah, I think it's, let's say, a $35,000 car, whatever. Who can afford it? I couldn't afford $1,000. I'd walk out. Is that deflation because the price is going down because it's too expensive? Because it's not just price, it's price plus interest rate. So if you're looking at price only, so this is where they try to fool you. So if you're looking at the price of a Camry and it's 30,000, and maybe the price went down from 32,000. Oh, that's deflation. Inflation's going down. Well, wait, we got to put the other part. If I bought it for 24 with 2%, my payments were 470 in 2018. So now it's gone from maybe 31 down to 30. Oh, look, inflation's going down. Yeah, but the second part of the equation, the interest rate's now at 10%, not at 2%. So the total is $900, $1,000 a month, and I paid $400 or 470. Let's be perfect. So this is what they're selling you, and we can't smell what they're cooking. It doesn't make any sense that they're trying to say, look, inflation went down because of the used car markets, because the interest rates are pushing the second part of the equation. So part one is the price. We got to lower the price because this part two, the interest to buy the car is so expensive that it's really costing you a lot more to buy the car because it's price plus interest. But they're not factoring in the interest rate in inflation deflation. Just like the Jerry Rice card, Where's the deflation on this? It's $140,000 sold on July 10th. This card sold for $140,000. Show me where the deflation is. I just showed you Montana, 100 grand and 100 and a quarter. Where's the deflation? Oh, the cars. Well, because you're not factoring in the interest rate on cars and houses. So it looks like they're coming down, the prices, but not in total. When you include the interest, they've gone way up. So this is the little game that the little motherfuckers in the government are trying to fuck over everybody, because you guys are way too stupid to understand it. That's what they're not telling. What did they say? It was strictly because of the used car prices going down. Yeah, but the interest rates on the used cars are going way up. So the net effect is the price of the car has gone up 10 grand, because now you got to pay $1,000 a month for it as opposed to $400 or $500. So don't fuck with us. That's not, there's no such thing. Inflation is not down, and there's no such thing as deflation. If there's deflation, this would have sold for $50,000. I saw it at 100. Now it's 140. It's gone up. Inflation, deflation had nothing to do with it. Inflation had nothing to do with the price of that card going up. That was demand by the market. Somebody wanted the rice card. They couldn't find it. They missed out at the 100, but they saw it go for 100. They sold it. It was a buy it now for 140, and they bought it. 140 grand. Fucking $100 shipping. How could you charge $100 ship? I guess insurance, but Jesus Christ. So it's authenticity guaranteed. Well, it's a PSA 10. Of course, it's that's the authenticity is the PSA grade. So this is why I get flustered by deflation. There's no such thing. It's the market, right? It's whatever the market wants to bear. Here's a Leaf Rookie and Stars, 2000. It's only $30. There's no demand for this card. There's not the price of that card, let's say, was 40, went down. It didn't go down. It went down because there's no demand for it. Everybody wants the rookie, and everybody wants the PSA 10. And you can see the PSA 10, and I'll show you mine maybe Saturday. This is a hard fucking card to get centered. Mine's a little bit like this, a little bit more off center, left to right. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. So you can see it's not 50-50 left to right. It's a little about 55-45, which is what my card is. So I'm hoping I can get a 10 on it. But it's a very hard card. When you're looking for it ungraded, and I was in the early 90s, it's a motherfucker getting it centered. So it's a very tough, there's not a lot of PSA 10s. And you can see when something's limited, look at the prices. This is why I scream about gold. Gold is extremely limited. Bobby Bo, how are you, man? We're talking your sport here. See, there you go. Jerry Rice, rookie card, 140. Sold. Yeah, well, we're teaching market, and we're teaching. So the market for this card is 140. The market is what a seller wants to sell it for and what a buyer, and they get together and they can make a market out of it. So this guy was able to sell it for 140, and there was a buyer for 140. If you have a seller and a buyer for 140, you have a market. And that's the point. That's my point on the free market. There's no government interference. It's laissez-faire economics, invisible hand. This guy had a card for 140. This guy was willing to buy it. Stay out of the way. Let him go. He paid. He bought. Boom. Now we have a market on Jerry Rice rookie cards, PSA 10 of 140,000. So my point is, where's the inflation on this? The card didn't go up, and the card went up in value, but I thought we were having deflation. I thought prices were going down if it's deflation. So if the prices are going down, this card was 100,000, now 140. The Montana's going for 125 and one for 99. There's a huge market for Montana PSA 10s. I saw your video from Sunday saying that you bought some more gold and silver. Yeah, I didn't buy any silver. I bought an ounce and a quarter of gold, which kind of squares me up now So I was happy about that. And they're waiting for us. So I just buy what you can now, Bobby, because it's not going to be there long with the bricks and everything. Yeah, well, it was a quarter ounce, but it was a maple leaf. I never saw one before. It was cheap. It was $5.30, and I'm looking at all the quarter ounces are 600, and the ounce was 270 for the Eagle. And today I'm looking, and gold was up $25 today, and they're all 2130, 2140. So we're starting to go. Now, one thing I did show in another video was one of the gold bullion banks is out. They know, they smell what the rock's cooking, and they're getting out, and they got out of the casino as Alex whatever, not Alistair, but the Andrew McGuire. So they got out of the casino. So that's one less player doing the COMEX bullshit. So they smell like we got to get out because it's all done. The BRICS announcement, they'll have it in their August thing. The gold's going to go through the roof. And I got a video I've been waiting to show you. I think I showed it Saturday, but I'll show it to you now, where Andrew McGuire makes you very happy. My guy still has inventory. Yeah, I mean, he had 4 or 5 ounces. He still has the Panda, the Chinese, which I won't buy because I'm scared. I'll have the Chinese Secret Service at my house. So he's got the Panda, and then he had 3 or 4 Eagles, and then he had 4 Canadian quarters and 4 Canadian dimes, and he had some of those little bars that I've showed you before. I don't know if they're ounces or half ounces, but he had a lot. And then he had the silver liberties, and he had some bullion. He was all sad. He's lowered his premium. I don't know why. These guys are out of their fucking mind. Talk about guys that are just clueless. So, yeah, he still has inventory. So my biggest thing is my pet peeve is this deflation, which is not Austrian economics. It's Keynesian. Keynesians government control. Austrians, we control it. So if there's deflation, why is this 139? Sold. It's sold July 10th, 139,000. You can see it. Sold. It's sold. It done. It's not like he's got it up for auction. Where's the deflation? He should have only got 60 or 70,000. And my point on deflation is it's the free market, and the market is the market. If you buy a house for 100 grand, or let's say you buy a house for 400 grand, and it goes down to 300, that's the market. If this guy now puts his rice card up and he can only get 75,000, that's the market. That's not deflation. Didn't do that. There's less demand. And for the inflation, these cars, it's the interest rate they're not telling you about. So if the car price went down a little bit, but now the inflation is 10%, so the total cost of the car went up $5,000, they're trying to say, look, inflation's down because the price of the car went down. No, because part 2 is the interest rate went way up because of the inflation. So if the interest rate goes up, how the fuck is inflation coming down? It's not. You've printed the money. I was watching Titanic the other day. It still hit the iceberg. It still sunk. So the government would be saying, well, it hit the iceberg, but it's not going to sink. Yeah, it's not sinking, but the girl's jumping on the door right now. What the fuck are you talking about? So they can say there's no inflation or it's going down. It's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, the stock market's not going to go down. Bunch of bullshit. It has to go down because if costs go up, which is what inflation is, it takes more to buy. If costs are going up, sales have to drop because you only have so much money. You're not making more. And therefore, I only got so much to buy my groceries and clothes and whatever I'm buying. So how can I buy more than what I could before when everything costs more? Bobby, you were on the radio the other day. I guess you have like a 100-year contract where you're going to get paid until like 2050 or something like that. Somebody mentioned that you had this big contract. They were talking about the lottery. should you take the lump sum or the payments? And your name came up. And, well, you're laughing all the way to the bank. You got to buy gold and silver. Your only problem is, can you take the lump sum now? Because what your problem is going to be is you're going to get paid in inflated dollars. So if you're getting 5 million a year, whatever you're getting, it's now 5 million. Now it's 5 million in inflated dollars, means you're only getting 4 million. And then the following year, maybe you're getting 3 million 5. And then what happens when the dollar goes out? How do they renegotiate your contract to get what you're valued? So if I was you, I would get on the phone and say, you know what, guys, I want to get paid in gold. I don't want dollars anymore because of the inflation. So you're never going to get the real money that you got in 1985 or whatever. So to protect you, you need to change that contract to gold. You want to get paid in gold because otherwise you're getting fucked. Because the dollar you're getting is inflated, and when the dollar goes out, how are you going to get paid? Right? So if you're getting 4 or 5 million a year and the dollar goes to zero, now what do you get paid? Or if you can renegotiate it, you can get gold. It won't fucking matter. Let's do it now. Okay, gold's 2,000 an ounce, wink, wink, and you get, say 2 million. Okay, I want 1 million ounces of gold. Well, whatever, 100,000 ounces of gold for the next however long your contract is. Or you lump sum them and say, give me 5,000 ounces of gold. We'll call it even. You laugh all the way to the bank. And the best part about it, Bobby, there's no taxes. If you get gold instead of your money, how do you pay tax on it? You never got money. I go buy gold at the gold store. Guess what? I'm not doing a 1099 for holding it, and I'm not doing anything for getting it. It's out of the bank, so there's no 1099. There's no income tax because it's gold. So I would definitely talk to your attorney and say, I want to start getting paid in gold because of the inflation. He'll laugh at you. Have him talk to me. But you want to get the fuck out of your contract before the inflation basically eats the zero. And basically, when the dollar goes out, now, okay, you got a few years, but I'd still rather have gold. All right, so that's my speaking my piece to Bobby. That's what I would do if I was you. So there is no deflation if this card's getting 140. And these cards are getting 100, 100 and a quarter. Where's the deflation? According to the deflation, these cards would be getting 20,000. So it ain't happening. Anyway, that's why I get a real hard attitude on deflation. It's not real. Prices are going up. On what? Not on the Montana and Rice rookie cards. If your house goes down, that's the market. That's strictly, I'm trying to sell my house for 400 grand and I'm not getting bids. So I got to lower the price. That's the market. That's just the free market dictating the price you can buy and sell it for. And you're the market. I'm selling a house. Does anybody want it? If nobody wants it, there is no market for it. Or the market at your price is too high. And that's what you got to get over. So that's really what it is. So I'm going to go to the video. And I know where it is. It's at 41.
Since Russia started tokens, flows are and will increasingly be.
All right, here's Andrew McGuire last week.
First-year market-making banks will be aware of this, whereas the Fed is the only central bank still short gold. They're once again blindsided. This is unbelievable. Yes, we spoke to Daniela DiMartino Booth, an ex-Fed insider, who says they just don't understand it. Well, clearly, and obviously they employ they employ agents to control the price of gold because it competes against the dollar. But they don't understand gold. And having looked at this before, we've looked at this. But given the BRICS Plus and applying members control the lion's share of commodity trade, when assessing if there's sufficient liquidity to drive the adoption of tokenized gold, there's only one only has to look at the aggregated size of these sectors and who controls the lion's share of supply and consumption of these globally consumed commodities. And these hard commodities are largely in the control of Russia, China, the BRICS, SCO members, including Saudi Arabia, along with the deemed friendly countries. Now, to provide an idea of the potential scale of this global market, the global oil and gas market is worth 7,000 billion per annum. I'm putting that in billions.
That's 7 trillion.
Add in the 5,000 billion
5,000 trillion
commodity and energy sectors, then you've got to see the estimate of the de-dollarization potential becomes much, much clearer. And adopting gold as a benchmark to create a basket of gold-backed currencies will enable a diversification of reserve holdings, allowing these largely exporting emerging markets in many instances to gradually opt out of the increasingly weaponized SWIFT payment system. An alternative gold-backed currency becomes the only sustainable currency to benchmark a commodity price to facilitate the non-dollar trades between nations. And as the gold for the commodity benchmark eats into the unipolar dollar-centric price commodity market, it will accordingly raise the price of dollar-denominated gold. It has to. And we're in close contact with our well-connected first-tier liquidity providers, our Russian refinery contacts, to better assess how this will translate into a real physical demand, supply-demand price, and on what timescale. But what is clear is that the inherent Western cartel paper gold derivative game is ultimately going to explode. Nobody wants or expects the dollar to immediately collapse. No one wants it or expects it to. Clearly, there's a lot of vested interest that it cannot be unwound in a hurry. But as this process evolves, derivative gold will be discarded and real physical gold price will emerge. And since Russia started tokenizing physical gold to provide a tradable alternative to benchmark the non-dollar denominated commodity price, at the margin, this drain of physical gold is structurally impacting the imbalanced, ring-fenced, asymmetric, long over-the-counter short futures envelope, which has been the traditional game. This will become more apparent as physically deliverable foreign exchange gold dislocates from the dollar strength or weakness. And this is an opportunity for stackers to accrue more bullion for less dollars, pounds, euros, etc. So what we're doing is currently witnessing a major inflection point in how gold measured in all fiat currencies is priced. So what we're saying is we're privileged to be at a point where we're living through what the history books will look back at as an event where the weaponization of physical gold took a whole new turn, opening up a highly liquid non-dollar mechanism for the BRICS, SCO, and ultimately the Eurasia Economic Union, the EAEU, to facilitate trade outside the unipolar legacy system, benchmarking commodity, energy, and oil trade to this real physical supply-demand gold gram price. Now, market disruptions will be really far-reaching. Now, as an example, currently an ounce of gold buys 24 barrels of oil. As oil is de-dollarized, an ounce of gold will easily buy double that, if not more. Now, conversely, in dollar terms, this is important, it will be massively inflationary for dollar-priced oil. Now, very short term, the very large central bank-related spot orders sitting at 1900 are still there. We talked about them last time. We said anything below that level ain't just not going to last. In fact, if it isn't hit again, and we've just had CPI If it's not hit again, well, then they're going to raise that up higher. But it's not sustainable to have that a price below 1900. So any dip would be short-lived, and sure was. So CPI.
This guy, I'm trying to end it, and this guy keeps yapping. That's the end of COMEX, and look for the gold to get repriced. That's for you, Bobby, because that's what you keep waiting for. That's what we all keep waiting for. When's it going to go up? When's it going to go up? And I keep saying, I don't know when the game is. Well, here's the game. The game is on. And as Egon said, they're going to fill the stadium in the last 5 minutes. It's going to go boom. That's why I keep pressing you guys to buy it now. You cannot wait. I bought 2 ounces a month ago and 1.25 ounces here. And I still, and I still want to buy more. I'm ready to move my money out of my 401k, put it in my safe, buy another 3 or 4 ounces, because once it goes to 20,000 an ounce, the only way I'm going to buy it is when silver hits 10-1, and I can take my 20-ounce silver little plastics and get 2 ounces of gold, because I'm not going to be able to afford at 25,000 an ounce, 2 ounces of gold for 50 grand. But that's what I would do if I were you, Bobby. Call up your attorney, say you want to redo the contract, and you want to get $2,000 gold divided by what do you got in your contract. You want to get paid in gold. And tell them you're fucking serious. And guess what? You won't have any income tax. Because you're going to get paid in gold. So not only will you not have taxes, you won't have taxes on the savings. If it's proper, you could probably get away without 1099. So there you go, Bobby. I just made you a fortune. Plus, the gold will go way up. So I wanted to show you that so you'd have an understanding that the game's starting. The BRICS is going to start the game August 20th in Johannesburg. And it's so hard to listen to these idiots, this Rick Rule guy. Oh, it's just propaganda. Bullshit. You're welcome, Bobby. Always looking out for you. It's weird. This the last couple of times I didn't have anybody chatting with me, and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, well, I'll keep going and doing what I did. But anyway, so I got one other video for you, Bobby.
Care instructions for my Gatsby. My gazpacho. Mr. Henry Chicken.
Does it actually help lower heart rate? Stress, the inflammation, and the glycation. It is sugar, insulin resistance, food allergies,
talking
stress,
cholesterol for you, Bobby.
Goes on and on. All those things associated with chronic disease. So now listen up very carefully. Here is the real cause of atherosclerotic plaques. This oxidized LDL can do some damage. It damages the intima, which is the inside lining of the blood vessel. If you notice this yellow plaque, it's not actually inside the lumen of the blood vessel, that there are different layers of the blood vessel, and the inside layer is the intima, and then you have various different layers. So what this oxidized LDL does, it damages the inside layer and makes the gaps grow bigger. And now this oxidized LDL, which is tiny, can slip through the crack and start getting into the wrong place. And now there's something called a macrophage that starts following this bad guy in through that crack. And a macrophage is something that eats something. That's a white blood cell. Sometimes it's called a phagocyte. It goes by many different names, but it's basically, we're going to call it Pac-Man. And this Pac-Man, its job is to go after and gobble up this LDL. Because the liver receptors cannot recycle it as a healthy cell, this oxidized LDL is now treated as a foreign intruder. It's not part of the friendly guys in your body anymore. And the only way to get rid of it is through your immune system. So it's treated like a virus or a bacteria or a fungus or something.
There's a better part. What he's saying is cholesterol is really not that bad. And I know you're worried about
LDL particle count went down.
I might be in the
from
wrong
3,400 to 2,900. We had a change, a reduction in 455, a 15% reduction in the number of cells. But more importantly, what kind of cells, which cells were reduced? So now we look at the small LDL count, and that went from 1653 to 12.
I got to find a better spot. He explained it a little bit better, but what he's saying is your doctor, it says your doctor is wrong about cholesterol, and I guarantee you your doctor never showed you anything like that. So I'll let me get a better one. Howard, how's your ideal? I have no idea. I don't even check it. I just eat what I eat, and if I'm healthy, I'm healthy. I had a blood test a year or two ago. I don't remember. My sugar was up. My blood pressure is up. I do his diet, and now my blood pressure is 120, and I don't really worry about anything else. I feel perfectly fine. I can swim every day. I get my gout, which I deal with, and that's about it. And mine was 164. Was good, but was up for some reason. Well, let me watch this again, and then I'll get to the better points for you. But the bottom line was, don't worry about it, because it's, first of all, he said cholesterol is not supposed to be under 200. It's supposed to be over 200. That's why I got to make sure I got the right video, but I think I liked it for you. Let me find it. But your cholesterol should be over 200, and it's perfectly fine. So anyway, is what the avocado? No, he's doing that video is on cholesterol. By the way, how was it that you made your coffee again? I boil it, and then I shave the ginger. I've been eating ginger root. Let me show you. I found this massive one at the grocery store. So this is ginger root before it gets into the little thing, and then you got ginger. And then what I do is I cut part of it, and then I shaved it to this. I put about 3 or 4 of these into a pot, and then I pour the hot water into the pot to let the ginger do its work. And then coffee I make with Maxwell House Instant and half and half and cinnamon. And then I got the ginger in there. And occasionally I'll put honey in it for some flavor. And that's my coffee. And then the next couple of glasses will just be ginger tea, and very healthy for you. But that's what I've been doing. So, it works really well. Instead of the green tea, I'm having ginger tea. Otherwise, it's the avocado, the dark chocolate, the omelets with veggies and a little bit of hamburger. Today I made chicken breast for dinner, and I'll throw that in my omelet and everything else. Throw that in my salads. I saw one that showed rampant cholesterol. It's total cholesterol, HDL, IDL from our guy. So you out like a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and I pour a little bit of half and half in, and then just a couple of shakes of cinnamon, not a teaspoon. You could, but I don't. I just shake it once. One of those cinnamon thing. Now I do have cinnamon sticks, but I have the cinnamon like salt and pepper, and you just flip it over. But I have the stick. You can put the stick in the tea and just use it 3 or 4 times, I guess. I never tried coffee with cinnamon, but cinnamon is it's a very good flavor. Just like ginger. You don't think that this is pretty spicy. If you get it raw like this, you put it in your water or your tea, it's got a little bite to it, the ginger. But cinnamon's very good. You'll like it. It gives you the flavor, so you don't need the sugar. You don't need the sweet and low. So that's what I use. I just go through cinnamon like it's milk, but it keeps me away from. So what you're trying to do is like dark chocolate keeps me away from M&Ms and Oreos, and I still get my sweet tooth, and then it helps with the dark chocolate. And that's the same thing I'm doing with the cinnamon. It keeps me away from sugar. And so a lot of it's substituting away from the bad guys. Again, you're trying to stop eating sugar and carbs, and cinnamon's perfectly fine. Be careful. Honey, be careful. You don't want too much honey. But honey's, you put you just do a squeeze into it. You don't put a whole big thing into it. It's just a little squeeze, the honey bottle, and just that's it. But it's very healthy for you, just like lemon, just like avocado, dark chocolate. They're all extremely healthy for you. The cocoa is very healthy for you. So that's what I'm trying to do. But anyway, back to the cards. Really what I'm teaching there in the economics is the market. So what I'm teaching you is why this inflation deflation is a bunch of bullshit. The Montana cards, 99,000, didn't go up because of the inflation. But it went, it's 99. There's a 1-for-1. The Jerry Rice card did not go up because of the inflation. It's 133,000 now, but there's still not every Jerry Rice card went up. So it's different markets. Based on demand, the demand for his rookie card, PSA 10 is extremely very low supply, so it gets 133,000. And then the demand for his Pro Set 1989 is $20 because they made too many. And what I'm trying to show you there, when you make too many, there's no value. But when you make a little, like gold, you have a much higher value. So the question I'm going to ask, what do you think? Do you think there's more demand for this card or gold? What do you think there's more demand for? And I would make a heavy bet. There's more demand for gold than a Montana rookie card. Yet you're getting $100,000 for the Montana rookie card. So when people ask me, well, Howard, gold, when it gets to 50,000, can I sell it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can when you can get $100,000 for a Montana card and 125 in another auction for a Montana card. So you think you can get 50,000 for gold? Do you think there's more demand for gold? Of course, because everybody will buy. Do you think the guys in China are buying Montana rookie cards? But they're buying gold, and not only that, they got 60,000 tons. So it's not like they buy 10 of it. They buy 1 ton, which is 32,000 ounces. They've got 60,000 tons of gold. And Putin, as stupid as he is, has 25,000 tons. He's got a mine. He just mines it and makes his gold. And he probably just has a whole room, and he just, and he's after the war, after his day, he just jumps in the middle of his gold. So yeah, it's not an item that you have enough of ever. I mean, I got more, and I'll get more, and I'll keep getting more at these prices. I don't know how you can't keep buying more. You can get silver at $29 an ounce. It's up. It was up a lot lately. It's like almost 26. And gold's went up 20 some dollars today to 1980. It's funny on eBay. I noticed the auctions, they go with it. So when it goes to 1980, all of a sudden the 2080 Eagles now 2130. Now the thing is, my guy's store is cheaper than eBay because eBay probably adds the commission of the auction in it because there's no sales tax. But my guy is cheaper because I'll go in and I'll see I went in Saturday, it was 2090 and he was 2070. So I'm very conscious what eBay was and what he beats them all the time. And a quarter ounce maple leaf should have been $600. I got it for $534. It was unbelievable. It's like shit. And I wasn't even going to buy it. I was really went for 1 ounce of gold, which was going to be about 2,100, and it was 2070. But when he had the quarter ounce, because I had 3/4 of an ounce, so it evened everything out now. So I added like 52 3/4, 53. So I just wanted to tie it out. And then Jenna's in Berlin, and she's, what are you doing? Well, we can't go out to eat because it's too expensive here. And I sent her $200 on RIA. If you got to send to Europe, you can send RIA because PayPal doesn't work everywhere. And so I sent her 200, but she had to get euro. She only got 175 euro. They're fucking people over with the exchange rate. But she's like, we can't. We just go to the grocery store and we eat her girlfriend's apartment she's staying at. And she says, I can't eat, we can't go out to eat. So it's funny, the girlfriend wanted me to come and I'm thinking, yeah, so I can pay for dinners and everything. I understand how I smelled what that was cooking, Bobby. They knew from Barcelona. Yeah, Howard's got the money. So I said, I looked and it was like $2,000 for a ticket to Berlin. No, it cost me 900 and something to go to Barcelona in April. But this is travel season, July and August. You don't want to go to Europe. It's very expensive. So I don't need to go now. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, so they kind of want me to come so I could pay. No. And I still remember you left me in Barcelona. So I don't think so. I never tried coffee with cinnamon, but yeah, you'll like it, Bobby. Hope all is well, TK. Getting excited. Hey, Nick, how's everything? So just keep locking Verlander, Scherzer, and McCullough, and you'll be fine. I sent you an email on that. So, Nick, to answer some of your questions, can I sell gold for $50,000? And here's the Montana rookie cards, PSA 10s, getting 100 and 100 and a quarter, and the Rice is 133, just sold for 133. So if people are buying the Montanas, I think we can sell our gold at 50,000. Don't have a worry about it. Coffee with olive oil. I put lemon in my olive oil. So in the morning, I take a teaspoon of olive oil and I squeeze a lemon. I cut the lemon and just pure lemon, squeeze it, mix it up and drink it. It's extremely healthy. That'll cure your cholesterol, Bobby. It'll clear everything, liver, kidneys, everything will clear up with the olive oil and lemon. It's extremely healthy. So I always have a teaspoon of that. First thing, don't eat for a half hour. So like if you're going to eat at noon, 11:30, well, you can anytime really just have it, but have it a half hour before. But I haven't tried the coffee with the olive oil. The lemon, yes, and the cinnamon, yes, but I'll put the lemon in my tea, but not the olive oil. I haven't. That I mix with the lemon, and I cook with it. So when I make my omelet, whatever, if I make chicken, I'll baste it with olive oil and French dressing. Nick, last Saturday and Sunday I went over college and pro. Saturday was college, Sunday was pro. Went through most of the games. So McCall is on Coastal Carolina. Loving New Mexico State on the first Saturday against fucking UMass. We can get 11 guys here and beat UMass. They're terrible. And then just keeping an eye open on Van Dyke. They're going to go with an air raid offense, so he should have his 50 touchdowns again. And we'll watch Ohio State and Alabama just reload with whoever who won't do well in the pros, but they'll get drafted high because they went to Alabama and Ohio State. But you watch the first game, Ohio State's got Indy. They'll put up 60 points with the quarterback that, it's just the system. Unbelievable. I think Tennessee will be a great over team. Well, they should be. I mean, Milton looked good. The coach, it's all the coach. Josh Heupel, he was like at SMU. He's a very strong over coach. So, again, we'll keep our eye on Kansas over. We'll keep an eye on TCU over. We'll keep an eye on UCLA and Washington and USC over. And one team that we've got to take notice of is Wisconsin. You got Luke Fickell, but you've got Mordecai, the SMU quarterback, and they brought in a bunch of receivers from SMU and teams like that. They might be very explosive, and with that defense, I mean, they might win every game by 35 points. So I'm not going to be under Wisconsin yet. Let's see what they do. Although Fickell disappointed me a lot at Cincinnati, where he couldn't cover against Tulane and Tulsa, 17 points. He's very conservative, so we'll see what they do. But they have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, and he put up 50 a game when he was there. So keep an eye on that. But Tennessee should be an over. They'll have to replace the receivers, but that's usually not a big thing. Alabama's not going to be very good this year. They'll probably be an under team because the new quarterback's a freshman, and he's not really that good. Apparently, they got a good quarterback coming in next year, but this year they're going to be in trouble. And I don't know about the receivers. Their defense will be pretty normal, but they didn't have a running back last year. And if you don't have a quarterback, their whole offense sucks because it's all quarterback dependent on the fast receivers getting open, but the quarterback can't hit them. They're going to be in big trouble. Georgia, it should be Georgia, LSU in that league. Tennessee needs defense. Florida, they don't have a quarterback. So keep an eye on that. But, yeah, just keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on what's going on week one. Anyway, so as I'm saying, deflation, what they're trying to tell you what deflation is, it's like price of houses going down, and it's Keynesian. It's not Austrian. There is no such thing in Austrian economics. The only thing with deflation is the banks can't get their loans. That's what deflation is in Austrian economics. But the fact prices are coming down, it's the market. It's just the market. Here, the Montana's 125. Well, so what they're saying is you'll only be able to get 75 in the Montana auction. Well, this auction is on right now. I mean, this is going on as we speak, these two auctions. So what are you talking about? So deflation is if you can't sell your house because of the high interest rates, that's all it is. It's the market. There's no buyer because the market's here. So let's put it this way. You have a $300,000 house and the market's here at 3%. Now it's 10%, which actually makes your $300,000 house $400,000. Well, the market's 300. You want to get 4, you can't. So you have to. The total has to be 3. So you got to lower your price to 2 with the 10% interest, getting it back to 3. And what they're telling you is only the 2. They're not adding up the interest that it's really a $300,000 house. So the house is really only worth 2, but you got to get a loan worth 10% because of the inflation. So they're trying to say it's deflationary. It's bullshit. It's the inflation raising the interest rates because that's what inflation is. The dollar's going down. Therefore, if the dollar's going down, what do? You've got to adjust it with a higher interest rate. So as I said, my guy at Toyota said, he said he can't, the car notes, right? The monthly note is up to $900, $1,000. I paid $470 for a 6-year note on my $24,000 Camry. I could not have afforded $900 or $1,000 a month on my car note, so that they can't sell it. Well, that's deflationary. The only way they can sell it is to lower their price. Again, simple math. I got to lower my price because I got a higher interest rate to get back to the market. So if I'm selling it at 25 at 2%, which is what I bought it at, and now it's 10% at 25, I'm really selling it at 35. So to get back to this market where people are willing to buy, I got to lower the price to 20 with the interest rate to get to 25. So these idiots are calling that, oh, look, inflation's going down, but they're not looking at the interest rates. So they're only giving you half the story. If you take the car with the payment and the interest rates, it didn't go down at all. But the payment part went down only because the interest rates are going up, because that's what inflation does. So don't believe them when they tell you inflation's 3%. They're full of shit. They're trying, it's the Keynesians trying to look good. No, we didn't fuck everything up. So then you ask yourself, well, wait a minute, why are they going to raise interest rates in July or August if inflation's down? And yet they are, and gold's going to go so high. I mean, if we see an auction with gold at 100 and quarter, we'll be jumping on it. Again, buy as much silver as you can, Nick, Bobby, because it's gonna go down to 10 to 1. It's 88 to 1 going down to 10 to 1, which means if gold goes, so let's say just gold's at 30,000, silver goes to 3,000. You take your 20 ounce plastic, the 20 plastic, and you go, give me 2 ounces of gold. And for the $550 that you paid for the 20 ounces now, it turns into $60,000 of gold. Until it won't be priced in dollars, it'll be priced in gold. And I love these Bitcoin. I saw something, Bitcoin $125,000. Based on what? Oh, well, on this trend of this chart, we saw that Bitcoin went up, da-da-da-da-da. All right, who the fuck? I would rather buy the Montana card at 125 than Bitcoin at 120. At least I have the card and it's a PSA 10 and it's a Montana rookie. Why would I want Bitcoin? It's not worth anything. Where is it worth something? And these Bitcoin guys just talk out of their mouth. They have no fucking clue. Why would it go up? Is it not price fixed? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it doesn't have a value. So this leads me to a quick story. Let me read Bobby first. You think interest rates will stay up for a long time? Investor R, will it work or tease way down soon? Let's try to read it in English. You think interest rates will stay up for a long time? Absolutely. Or will it work its way down soon? There's no way interest rates are going down because there's no way inflation's going down. And I agree, Nick, fall coming soon, just a month and a half away. The reason crypto went up is because one of the top projects won a big case against the SEC earlier this week or something like that. Okay, so let's again go back to inflation. So if we understand the Austrian view, which is what I got my master's in, which is correct, and we've proven Keynesians are wrong, they want communism. They want government to control us. We want to control ourselves. This inflation is printing the dollars. We know they've printed at least 10 trillion. Every month they print welfare and Social Security and Medicare, whatever. They're printing and giving these people food stamps. They're printing. So I don't know where it's stopping. It's not. They just keep printing money. Well, it's like a Topps baseball card. Look at the Barry Sanders. It's worth $100. Look at the Joe Montana. It's worth $125,000. It's because of the supply. It's way too much, way over demand. So in other words, there's more supply of Barry Sanders rookie cards than demand. But because it's very rare to have a PSA 10 Montana, not that it was limited, but they fucked up so bad. To get a 10 is so hard that the supply is very little and then demand is very high, and that's how you get to 125,000. That's what you got with gold. The demand's way up and the supply, The supply is way up, but the price is way down. And the price got to go just like the Montana card. That's why I keep saying that. So to answer your question, Bobby, the only way inflation stops is if they back it by gold. There's no way they can raise interest rates. First of all, interest rates don't stop it. You can't really stop it once the genie's out of the bottle. So you've printed and printed and printed 10, 15 trillion dollars worth of paper, and wait till the foreigners want their money back because they don't want it in US dollars, and more come in. You can't lower inflation. And as I've stated, if you want to lend me money, you want to give me 20,000 and you want to get back 5. So you want to get back 25 for the 20. The only way you can do that is to raise interest rates, because if I give you back 20,000 inflated dollars, which we just talked about for your paychecks, if I give you back 20,000 inflated dollars or 25,000 inflated dollars, you didn't get 20,000. You got maybe 18,000 back, depending on how bad the inflation is. And if you could stop it, look at Venezuela, look at Turkey, look at Pakistan, look at Sri Lanka, look at Greece. They couldn't stop the inflation. Zimbabwe is like 1,000%. Once it gets going, you can't stop it. You can't just print your way out of it. You have to back it by gold, which the U.S. has no gold. So to answer that question, no, you can't stop the inflation. Therefore, interest rates will never come back down. It's gone. And in your logic, it's a long fly ball deep to center field, and it's in the second deck. And is the ball not going to go out? And the ball's gone. It's a home run. So no, you cannot stop inflation. I'm used to it, Bobby. That's all right. Not to get off economics, but meant to ask you, is Van Dyke going to be quarterback for Miami again this year, or Van Dyke's the quarterback. They got a new offensive coordinator who's going to run the air raid for Van Dyke, because they want to use Van Dyke's skill set, and they know he's a great quarterback. They're trying to figure out, how did we fuck him up? Because in 8 games, he threw 26 touchdowns and 3 interceptions 2 years ago. Cristobal comes in, changes the offense around. He has 12 or 15 interceptions, gets hurt, and the coach is like, what the fuck did I do? So he's smart enough to bring in one of these Texas Tech coaches who knows the air raid, and so they're going to run a much more passer friendly. So look for him to have 40 touchdown passes, and they'll be an over again. Good question, Bobby. Yeah, that's true. That inflation ball is in the fucking parking lot by now. You cannot stop it. That's why if it's not backed by gold to start, there's nothing you can do, because what happens is the Keynesians are running it, and they think in their mind the only way out is to keep printing. Well, that's what happened in the 1920s in Germany. What? They printed $1 trillion a day in the 1920s, and they were wallpapering their wall. And I know Nick's familiar. They had wheelbarrows full of money to go get milk and bread. You cannot, it loses all its value, because the more you print, the less it's worth. That's why I'm showing you the Rice rookie and the Montana rookie. They're extremely rare to get PSA 10. Not that it's a limited card. They made a ton of cards, but only a few that were PSA 10s. And that is very rare, and you can see the value, $125,000 for the Montana rookie card, because there's probably 25 of them. But we've got 10, 15 trillion of this. And you can't put the genie back in the bottle. How are you going to get this back? Especially since most of it isn't even in paper. It's just electronic. How are you going to get the electronic money back? So there's no way you can tame inflation. They're trying with interest rates, but that doesn't really work. The only way it works is you back it by gold, and you stop it. See, the reason you back it by gold is I can only print as much gold as I got. So if I only have 50 billion ounces of gold, I can only print $50 billion, because I'm supposed to be able to go to the bank and say, here's $100. I want $100 worth of gold. They're supposed to have it for me. Now, I don't know that it needs to be 100% backed. I'm not quite clear on that. As long as, let's say, it's 25% backed by gold. So if I have $100 and I want gold, give me $25. That could be it too, but you're limited in what you can print because you have to have gold to back all your dollars. And that's why it's in the Constitution, and that's Adam Smith and Say's Law and everything else I teach you is to control, because once you lose control, which the communists have done here, and they print and print and print, you're fucked. That's it. The game's over. Look at Venezuela. They just went crazy. Why? Why didn't they stop it? Why didn't they, like you said, Bobby, why didn't they stop it? You can't. Once you print it, it loses value. Now, when the game's over, so we're sitting around now, we're in the 9th inning, we're going, when's the game end? Why are we going into the 10th inning? The game ends when everybody realizes it has no value. Once this is officially no value, nobody will want it. And now with this gold back current, the reason the gold back currency is so good for us, not for America, but for us, is because what would you rather have? Would you rather have a nice big steak, or would you want a tuna fish sandwich? Would you rather have money backed by gold, or this shit that's backed by nothing? What would you rather have, gold or this? Of course, you'd rather have gold. So now this can't compete because it's not competitive, because it's not real money. It's just paper. Anything that's paper is paper. It's Kleenex. This is the same thing. This is my point. This is what I keep trying to nail down in you is it's only paper. It has no value. Gold and silver have the value. The Montana and the Rice card have a value, right? The Rolex watch has a value. Bitcoin, I don't know that it has a value. I don't see it. And I'm being honest. I don't care about Bitcoin or not. But if I have the choice, I'm buying the gold dinner, not the Bitcoin dinner, because I know gold can't be printed and can't go to zero. But I don't know that Bitcoin, they say it's limited, but prove it. I don't see that. Not only that, I can't hold it in my hand. So to me, it's like an ETF. It's paper gold, which is worthless. So that's where I'm at with this shit. I don't see it, but why would I want dollars? And once it's inflated, it's gone. Once it's gone, just think of Nazi Germany. Think of the wheelbarrows to buy bread and milk. That's what you have. That's what you have in Berlin now. Jenna's like, where are you going? We can't go out to eat. We just eat at the house. We go to the grocery store, we buy stuff, and we just cook. This is her vacation in Berlin. She says, very expensive. I said, that's because of the inflation. Now maybe you'll understand why I keep giving you gold and silver, because that will hold its value and go up while the euro and the dollar are losing their ass and things are getting very expensive. That's the inflation. Hello, now maybe you understand why the fuck I give you a half ounce of gold, 10 ounces of silver every time we meet. So you're going to be a very rich Ukrainian girl. You just don't, you think you're not, because she looks at silver. Wow, it's 25 an ounce. I'm like, would you give it about 3 months and then you'll see it at $300-400 an ounce? And in Ukrainian terms, then it's really worth a lot. So I think she's starting to get it, but her trip to Berlin's really showing her, they're inflating the shit out of it. I told you in Barcelona, it was really expensive. Cashing 300 cost me 360 US to get 300 euros. It was unfucking believable. Bobby, I am wondering what that week 2 over is going to be for Bama Texas game. Well, I don't know that Bama's an over team this year. Bama does not have a quarterback. And I don't know how high scoring Texas is going to be. Oklahoma, yes, but the game you want to watch for, Bobby, is the Oklahoma-Texas game. If we get Oklahoma as a dog, we're betting it very big because that's revenge. They lost like 50-0. Gabriel, I think, got hurt in the game. So give me Oklahoma in 7, and we're going to bet a ton on it. We'll bet some gold on it. And I heard that Hugh Freeze is at Auburn now. I didn't know. Yeah, he just started. They're 38 over UMass. They should win. I think they got a new quarterback. Yeah, the dollar is getting crushed. Well, but the funny part is the yen, which is Japanese, and the euro are getting crushed more, yet the FX rate on it is not. When I give Jenna $200 US, she should get $250 for euros. She's only getting she got 175. So the dollar versus the euro is way down. It's like 89 cents. However, the dollar versus the ruble, when I give Daria money, it's up to 190 now, or 90. It's up to 90. So I give her $100, she gets 9,000 rubles or something like that. And I don't know if her prices went up. If not, then she's living the good life. So Jenna has to bring her sugar down before she can do the fasting part. I don't know. She collapsed twice. Ambulance had to come. So I'm telling her to stop drinking. And that's the problem with these Eastern Europeans. They really can't afford a lot. So the liquor's cheap and they just want to get drunk because they're so depressed. I mean, she's in the middle of a fucking war going on for a year and a half now. She just wants to drink, I guess. So when I'm with her, she drinks a little bit, doesn't get drunk, but I show her a good time. So she's happy and forgets all of it. We go out to nice restaurants and that's why she wants me there. So she can go to a nice restaurant in Berlin. And it's funny. All I can think about is Euro trip. When they go to Berlin to meet the girl, Scotty meets the girl, and they go to Berlin, and it's all I can think about with her in Berlin. So they want me to go, and I'm like, it's $2,000 for an airfare. Forget it. I'm not, and I don't have any desire. I said, what? You see a guy with a mustache trying to start another war over there? Is this, every time that's all they do in Germany is start wars. So I have no desire to go to Berlin or Frankfurt or any of the Hogan Heroes cities. The closest I'll get is Austria and Switzerland. I'll go to Switzerland. I went to Geneva. You'd like that, Bobby. You should go to Geneva and check out your gold in the banks. Go to Amsterdam and check out the girls. I thought you were going to Amsterdam. You'd like that. You like the south of France, Cannes and Nice and Monte Carlo. You'd love it there. Right on the Mediterranean, a lot of big boats. You can look into buying a boat there. All the British have their boats stocked in like Monte Carlo and Nice and everything. I recall you said she's diabetic and wondering how I can advise someone I know who is also, as I read that, a person can't fast if diabetic. She's not diabetic, but her blood pressure is very high. She's probably diabetic, but she's not heavy. She's very thin, but I was diabetic and I fasted and I did fine. It cleans you up. Remember, the autography cleans you up. So I don't buy the diabetic can't fast. The diabetic has to fast. Now you don't do the 72 hours right away, but you go on my diet, the 18-hour fast diet. You've got to go on that or you're going to die. You've got to let your body clean you. The body is the only thing that can save you is your mechanism. Like when you break an arm or you break a leg or you hurt your shoulder or your elbow, which I'm sure you've done a lot in baseball. The best way is to do the fast and let the body get out of the body's way and let it fix. So if you're diabetic, you have to fast. You have no other way. You can't have 3 meals a day. I don't have 3 meals a day. I have 2 meals a day. I was diabetic, but I'm not anymore. My blood sugar's down. My blood pressure's down. So that, I don't know where you're getting that. I don't smell what you're cooking there, Bobby. Sorry. What good is Berlin known for, by the way? Is it good? Berlin, the only thing good about Berlin is the rock group Berlin. The girls are hot, but otherwise it's where Hitler and the World War II guys are from. That was the capital. So I have no interest in Berlin. Mercedes is in what's the city? I can't think. Stuttgart. Mercedes is in Stuttgart. There's a bunch of major companies in Germany. I don't know if they're in Berlin or not, but it's big for manufacturing. What food is Berlin known for? I don't know. Cheese? I really don't know. It's Switzerland or whatever. I'm not sure. If you watch Hogan's Heroes, it's sauerkraut and sauerbraten and all that shit. I guess hot dogs. But I have no desire to go there. I'd much rather go to Switzerland or Amsterdam and even Ukraine if there's not a war on. But I wouldn't go to Berlin. Like she wanted, because her friends there from the Ukraine, she got out of the war, she ran to Berlin, but she said, "You want to come?" I'm like, no, if I'm going to waste $2,000, it's going to Hong Kong or somewhere. It's not, it's not going to Germany. I have unless I went to Stuttgart. If I was still working at Mercedes and they wanted me to go to Stuttgart, which almost happened, a gal came from Stuttgart from the headquarters, and I met her and I showed her all my high-level Excel stuff. She was really impressed, and she wanted me to go there and train her staff. And I said, well, it's not up to me. If my boss agrees, I'll go. I'd love a free trip to Stuttgart, but we're coming up on year end, and then COVID hit and everything. Otherwise, I'd still be there, and I probably would have went to Stuttgart. But keep in mind, inflation, the ball's in. So what you're asking is, if Barry just launched one 400 feet in San Francisco into the harbor, is there any way to stop the ball from going into the harbor? And the answer is no. Once the ball is gone, it's gone. And that's what inflation is. Once it's out, it's out. You can't. The only way you can stop it would be to actually establish a gold standard, attach gold to it, which would stop it. Otherwise, nobody's going to want it. It's going to lose its value, and that's the end of it. And really, that's what you have with every dollar. And you'll see it. You'll see it in the euro and the yen first. When Japan and the Eurozone goes out, you'll see they couldn't stop it either. Look at Zimbabwe. Why didn't they stop it? Why isn't Venezuela stopping it? They can't. You can't print it, because then nobody wants it. And as soon as nobody wants it, that's why she's the fat old girl at the bar, the 60-year-old who used to be the hot blonde, who's now put on 80 pounds and isn't a hot blonde anymore. Nobody wants her. That's exactly what inflation is. It's the dollar that nobody wants anymore. And here comes the gold dollar by bricks, and everybody's going to go, oh, yeah, she's hot. She's 20. Yeah, I want to date her. And then I don't want to date the 60-year-old. And it's as simplistic as I can make it. Once this, and that's why I use the Titanic. This has hit the Titanic. This is going down and out. There's nothing. You couldn't save the Titanic, and you can't save this. This is gone. So the quicker you realize it's gone, the quicker you get the fuck out of it, which is what I'm telling you to do. That's why I tell you to buy gold and silver, because there's no way out. Now you can buy the Montana card or the Rolex if you want to. That's how I diversify. Oh, I was watching The Big Short. It's on Tubi, and just for you, Bobby, I started watching it, and I felt like I was Batman. I see what's happening, but nobody wants to believe me. And then at the end, when it goes out, but the values aren't going down because the margin call movie takes over and they all start selling it to save the company. That's exactly what is going on. We know what's happening. We know what's going on with the dollar. We know gold should be much higher, but it's being manipulated. However, we're smart enough to understand it's being manipulated. But then we know that the manipulation is going to end, and that's when our clients are happy that I got them in the gold and silver. So that's exactly what I felt like. Only in The Big Short, the problem with them is they tried to fuck around with the banks, and the guy Batman bought like $1 billion of shorts, but they were controlling the market until they sold it all. Then it became worthless. Then they finally made their money. And they were like freaking out as we are going, when's it going to go up? When's gold going up? But we're smart enough to know we're not spending a lot on gold. It's cheap for us. But we know the outcome is going to be like The Big Short. It's going to be, crushed. And then here we go. And, I didn't like Brad Pitt in that movie. I thought he was stupid. There's a few movies that I'm scratching my head going, this is the stuff. I watched The Color of Money. At my job, I'm not fully working for 9 hours. So I stopped to watch some movies, and then I watch my teams if somebody lights me up. Let me read yours. There's a German restaurant out here in Tampa called Taste of Berlin. I was thinking of trying it. Yeah, check the menu out. Let me see what the menu says. I'll show it to Jenna going, this is what I've never heard of a German restaurant here. There's Indian, there's Thai, there's American, there's pizza, Chinese, as we know, Japanese, steakhouses, Italian. I've never heard of a German restaurant. They must not cook too well. Gordon Ramsay needs to go there. But from what I hear, it's very expensive there. So I'm not sure what's going on in Berlin. Anyway, so I'm watching The Color of Money. Somebody's got to explain this movie to me because it's the dumbest movie I've ever seen. Over there watching 2 for 2 money during work hours. Well, I'm done with my work, so I'm waiting, and if somebody wants to teams me, otherwise I'm brought in to do stuff, and I'm very quick at it, far faster than they understand. So it takes me 2 hours to do what they think it's going to take me 8, but that's all they're giving me, and that's what I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid to do my job. So that's like you playing baseball, and you're the reliever, right? So you're there for the 8th and 9th inning. So it's the first inning. Well, they don't need you till the 9th inning. You're the closer. You go watch some movies. Let me know when it's the 7th inning, and then I'll start getting warmed up because I'm not going in until the 9th if we have a lead. That's your job. You're the stopper. So therefore, what do you care about the first inning? That's kind of how I am. I get all my work done, and then I take a break, and I'll put on a movie, and I'm still here. I go back and forth. I kind of got the movie. I got Joe Black on and in the background as I'm working, but I turn around for something. But The Color of Money, thought you meant 2 for the Money. Oh, well, I watched that too. But so I'm watching The Color of Money with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise. And I know The Gambler was Paul Newman and supposed to be Minnesota Fats with Jackie Gleason in the 60s. And I've seen that movie. I don't get anything about The Color of Money, how it correlates to the movie, anything about it. It makes no fucking sense. So let's kick it off. He wants to stake Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is a good pool player, but he doesn't realize he's a good pool player. So he takes him on all these little jaunts, and Tom Cruise is too stupid to realize, or Paul Newman can't explain that, look, we don't want everybody to know how good you are. So play bad, and that'll keep the odds down when we go to Atlantic City. So my first question is, why don't you just go to Atlantic City? Why are you dicking around there? Go to Atlantic City and play, and then he'll be a nobody. Why does he got to lose to be a nobody in these little shitty things on the way to Atlantic City in these little dives? Why are you even doing that? So then he teaches them these little tricks. So Paul Newman's this scam artist who changes labels on liquor. So he's got no class at all. And then all of a sudden he gets scammed by this guy, and he says, okay, I've shown you everything. I'm leaving. And they're looking at, what the fuck? What do you mean you're leaving? We're a team. You're staking me. And all of a sudden he doesn't explain why. Why are you leaving him? Then Fast Eddie's supposed to be can't play because they've already told him in 1960, you're out of it. You cannot play anymore. We'll break your thumbs or whatever, like they did in 1960. All of a sudden, now he can play. And why did he need Tom Cruise to play? Why didn't he just play? So he's out with Tom Cruise, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm going to play. And he's playing. And I'm like, you can't play. You were banned. What the fuck? Now, if you're playing, why weren't you playing? You didn't need Tom Cruise to play. Why are you staking Tom and then letting him go? There's no reason. Then why is Tom Cruise losing? So he'll be a nobody in Atlantic City. Well, I got news for you. Nobody knows who he is anyway. He's working at Toys R Us. Just take him to Atlantic City and let him kick everybody's ass. What the fuck are you doing? Then he's in the tournament, and at the end, he forfeits for whatever reason, which isn't clear. Why are you in the tournament? And then the girl says, oh, I like classy guys. I bet you didn't know that about me. And you're like, girl, you're with the biggest scumbag in the world. He changes labels on your whiskey. He does all these pool scams. He makes a comment, money won is a lot better than money earned. And now all of a sudden he changed, and you expect me to buy that? I don't understand anything about the movie. It's the dumbest movie I've ever seen. If it's me, I'm taking Tom Cruise to Atlantic City. Okay, go ahead and play. You're a nobody knows who you are. Ask for big odds and just kick everybody's ass, and we'll make $1 million. What are you going to the little? We're going to this little mom and pop's pool, and I want you to lose and then win. So I'm trying to. I guess scammers lose the first 2 games and then win the next 4. And it's like, what the fuck is that? Nobody's going to scam me like that. If the kid can't play, I'm going to notice it because I'm the professor. Now, if all of a sudden we raise the stakes, he starts playing, I quit right away. I go, you're scamming me. We don't even finish the game. I walk away. You're not getting your money back. So if you think that shit's going to work, you're out of your fucking mind. But the whole dynamic of the movie was incredibly stupid. Almost as stupid as the Al Pacino movie with the football betting. Where was the teasers? They didn't do one teaser bet. I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. Got to watch those betting movies so we can get hyped up for football. Well, but you got to be careful because they're so stupid. I find most, and like Batman in the what was the housing market, The Big Short. What pisses me off is they make the Batman character and the other idiot, who's the comedian who was in it, and they make them look like a bunch of idiots. They make them look like almost, what's the word? Like, I want to say like autistic. Like Batman played the drums and he was very, he couldn't communicate. And then the other guy, Maxwell Smart, wasn't a normal person. And I take some I'm really pissed off about that because I'm normal. What the fuck are you? So you're making anybody who's intelligent in math, you're making us look like idiots, just like Two for the Money. You made Matthew McConaughey out to be some strange idiot guy. I'm like, we can be fairly normal and good at poker and good at football and good at gambling. And we have good personalities. So not all of us are fucking autistic people. So I hate how Hollywood does that, where they make us autistic. And if Al Pacino was smart enough to hire me, I wouldn't be John Anthony. I'd be the fucking professor, and I'd tell him to fuck off. I pick games, I pick teasers, and I don't pick every game. So fuck you. If I don't like the game, I'm not picking it. I don't pick to pick. I only pick if it's good. And that's how I would do it. Now, I don't know that one bet when he was giving him $200,000, he's handing out money. I don't know what that was all about, but I have an agreement. Either you give me a bonus or percentage or you don't. If you don't, fine, then don't give me any. If you do, then I want my percentage. But I'm expecting my salary to take care of me, and I'll make my own bets. Thank you very much. Gotta watch. Okay. Yeah. The betting movies, well, they just do them wrong. This is a better betting movie than you're ever going to see, is listening to me. But because I try to impart humor into it as well, and my little short stories on Jenna and Daria and everything. That's why I do it. I'm just trying to make it fun, but it's very much a master's class. This is exactly how I learned in my master's class. I bought my Adam Smith book. I went and I left it in Alabama, unfortunately. And so I have shit still in Alabama. So I got this. I went to the bookstore, and this is The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's only about 1,000 pages, but it's on YouTube. A pretty good understanding on YouTube. I've shown it to you. It's like 45, 55 minutes. And it's very quick, and it very much explains. And I showed it to you last week or the week before, where it just teaches you Austrian economics, basically, where you're watching the pastry shop and the baker across the street sees everybody buying scones. He starts making them, and that's really what it is. So, but the key is the Montana card is supply demand, very low supply, huge demand, high price. That's where gold should be. And then you have the Jerry Rice rookie card. And then you have some that have no demand. So that's what you're looking at, is where is the demand? That's the key to a market. So when you're selling the Bobby Bow tennis shoes, is there a market? So you're asking, is there a market? And then at what price do I need to sell it at? And at what's my cost? So if I can only sell it for 50, but it costs me 60, I can't sell it. However, if it costs me 30 and then I can get 50, then I make it. And that's really what business is. Getting a product or a service that's demanded. Like me, I sell the football picks. Is there demand for it? Yes. Is my price right? Hard to tell. I think so. I can't get too cheap, because if I get too cheap, people think I'm an idiot, and I can't pay. Oh, you're selling them for $20. You must be an idiot. So I sell it for more because I'm worth more. I'm like Morton's or Shula Steakhouse. I'm gonna charge you more for a steak, but it's worth it. And then I put the history, which is the proof. And then I got Nick and these guys coming back because they won. And that's the real proof. Here's Nick. He's been with me now 3 or 4 years. There he is. Obviously, I'm making him money. So that's the proof that. And then all the games I put out here, well, you can see I'm giving you a game. And then you can see, well, I gave you KC in the Super Bowl. KC won. There's nothing more I can do than say this is going to happen, and it happens. And now we're talking about inflation, which even kicks in more, saying, okay, here's inflation. This is what it's at. This is what you do. So we're recognizing it because you're printing money. That's inflation. There's nothing to stop it. It's the Titanic. The water's coming in. We get on the boat. Well, the boat for the dollar is gold and silver. That doesn't sink. So we can be fine in the gold silver boat. And that's the out. That's how we survive. And here's Jenna in Berlin, and she's bitching about the money. And, I give her $200, which is 75 euros. And I don't know what else. There's nothing I already gave her $700 to go for the trains and food already. So I'm like, she got fucked because her train to get into Poland from the Ukraine was stuck at the border 3 hours. So she missed all the trains and buses. She had to take a taxi, and the taxi was $100, which the train was probably 20 or 30. So that's really what killed her. And she told me that, and I thought she missed, there was no trains running to Berlin. I'm like, how are you going to get there? But that's not it. Had it been normal, I would have flown her from the Ukraine to Berlin. It probably would have been $200. But since the airports in the Ukraine aren't open, she has to train. But she's staying at her friend's, so there's no hotel. but then there's no hotel. So she's, instead of getting the free buffet and going swimming and hanging out, she's in the house or in the apartment, which has got to be, it's nice to see her friend. They yapped the whole time in Barcelona. But anyway, but that's what's happening. That's the inflation. The prices are getting expensive. That's what happens when you've hit the Titanic and your prices are going up because the value of the dollar is going down. She needs to find competition to her food, but she can't afford a restaurant. They're too expensive. Plus she's got her son there. So it's her and her son and the girlfriend and her daughter. And I guess it's too expensive. So it's probably not a very good place for Ukrainian people to go to Europe because it's too expensive for them. That's why I like going to the Ukraine. It's so cheap for me. Or Romania. She probably should have went to Romania because it's cheap. Or Turkey would be cheap for her. Not, she's got to stay out of Europe. Anyway, that's where she's at. But so I can't afford to do a whole lot. I just go on walks because it's so, everything's so expensive here. And I'm like, okay, you probably shouldn't be there since you're not working and you're relying on me to eat. You probably shouldn't be in Berlin in the first place. But anyway, that's what's happening. And that's what's going to happen here. It doesn't stop. It's all over the place. Everywhere there's this printed dollar is where it's going to happen. And guess what? Everybody's printing dollars. China's in trouble. Russia's in China. Japan's in trouble. Europe's in trouble. Switzerland's in trouble. Britain is in trouble. They keep raising their rents and everything else. Interest rates keep going up. That's where these idiots are getting the deflation bug from, is they're seeing the interest rates go up. So they know things are getting more expensive because of the interest rate, but that's only on houses and cars. So it's houses and cars. But this is why I warn you about the stock market crashing, because most companies don't have money. They take out lines of credit from the bank, right? So the company I was at, the bullshit tooling company, whatever, they don't have money. So they're taking out a line of credit from the bank. Well, I guarantee you it went from 2 or 3% to 7%. If they're even loaning them money, which they're probably not anymore, because they're worried about getting paid back from these idiots. These guys are a bunch of morons. They didn't know what they're doing. I wouldn't have loaned them a penny. And I could see loaning Harley and Mercedes, but I ain't loaning Joe Bob's, whatever they're doing. So therefore, I'm not loaning them. So if you are in business and you are GM and Ford and you need to borrow money to build your cars that you can't sell, how can cars sell when the interest rates make them so expensive? So Ford still wants to sell their car at $30,000. Now you add a 10% interest rate because nobody has $30,000. Now they're $40,000. I wouldn't have paid $20,000 for a Ford. I would never buy a Ford. So now how do they survive? They can't sell the car, and that's all I see is the dealership stacked up with inventory they can't sell. That's why I don't understand Tesla keep going up. You got to be out of your fucking mind to be buying Tesla now. I don't care if it's electric or you plug it in the wall. Who the fuck's going to afford a Tesla car now? And they keep lowering the price, and then there's a little subsidy, and nobody's buying them. They're only being sold in China, and that's probably huge subsidies from China, from the government. They've sold all 11,000 of them at probably a loss. Why would you be in Tesla stock now? Anything interest sensitive, houses and cars in a high interest rate environment, you get the fuck out. Now, if I was Batman in The Big Short, I'd be shorting Tesla right now. The difference is it would be clean. I could actually short them, and as the stock went to zero, I'd actually be making money. But that would be the Big Short now is Tesla. GM, Ford, Tesla, all those car companies, get the fuck out of those stocks. They're going to zero. They can't sell them. The interest rates are only going up, and they're going to be too expensive. that's why I warn you, Bobby, about buying a house now. And Nick, don't buy it now, because the price has to go down because of the interest rate. That's the kid. So Nick, if you want to buy a $300,000 house, you're going to pay 10% interest. Well, he ain't going to be able to sell the $300,000 house. He's going to sell it for 200 because that's what the 10% going to be. So that's why I'm telling you, wait, they have to lower the price because it's a two-part equation. It's the house, 300,000 plus the 10% interest. And that is going to raise the price back to 400, which nobody can afford. So therefore the price has to drop because of the interest rate. This is what the clowns are talking about. Deflation are talking about. The interest rate's going to lower the price because they're going to be above market. But I don't call it deflation. I call it the market. That's what's happening in the market because of the interest rates. I don't know what deflation is. It's not in Austrian economics. Like I said, it's in banks can't get their loans paid back. That's it. It's got nothing to do with prices going down. Inflation is not prices going up. And if inflation goes down because cars prices have to go down because the interest rates go up, is the price really going down? No. Price of the car has gone way up and not down, but the first component, the price, has gone down because the interest rate has gone up, making it really not inflation. So don't get trapped. Do not buy stocks. Your only way off the Titanic is to buy a gold and silver boat. That is it. Get out of the stock market. The banks are going to collapse, as I've said. And if you have money in the banks, you're fucked. If you have money in the if you have money in a CD, in a money market, an annuity, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. Get your money out of the bank. Get your money in the gold and silver or into your safe, under your mattress. Keep your 20, 30, 40 grand in cash, and at least you have it. Then we'll see what happens. And if at the last minute you got to go buy a bunch of gold and silver, you go and do it. But otherwise, you're fucked as far as trying to get your money out of the bank. It ain't going to happen. Now, you might be able to buy gold and silver with your debit or credit card. That could be the way you get your money out. But if you have to go get 20 grand out, you're fucked. So I got to take my last 26 grand out of my E-Trade into my bank, and then as quickly as I can get it from the bank back into the safe, and then take a little bit and buy gold and silver, and the rest is protection. And God knows that Jenna and Daria are going to need some money. So fortunately, I'm working, and I'm very happy and excited about that. As far as the TV, that's just on. I mean, they're interested in me getting the work done, so I do. But it's not like I'm watching TV the whole day. I mean, it's on in the back, like now. If the TV was on, I'm working. I don't want to get in trouble for this. Anyway, so I think that's it. 2 hours on a work day is plenty. I'm glad to see you, Bobby. I was beginning to wonder when I didn't see you all weekend because it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What is a good time on Friday? I don't know. I go to the gold store. I go to the club. I come back, and I get no views. And I get like 10 people watched my 2-hour class. Now I see 30 people eventually watch, like Bobby watched on Sunday. But part of me likes the communication. So I like to chat. So that's kind of why I do it live. I used to just do the video and upload it, but I'd rather do it live and get feedback versus the comments. Good show or you suck. Well, I don't want to read either. So that's why I kind of don't do comments. But anyway, yeah, football's soon. I got my first buyer. He bought the year, paying me in payments, which is perfectly fine. And so I'm excited. I already got a sale. Again, buy gold, buy silver while there's still supply in the price. Be very leery with August and BRICS announcing the gold, and here comes the gold currency. be very careful. Here it comes. Just don't wait too much longer. You're not going to save yourself time. The banks are starting to pull out, and Alligator and Andrew McGuire are like, here we go. And I hate the term stacker. We're collectors. I'm a baseball card collector and a gold collector, not stacker. I hate that word. What the fuck? Who invented that word? Some idiot? About 5 weeks away. Well, it's the end of August. The 27th is the first college game. The pros start in 2 weeks. They have the Hall of Fame game. Although the problem is they don't play their players. It's so stupid. Then week 1 comes and nobody can play the full 4 quarters. They're all exhausted because they haven't played game speed. They play practice with no pads, and they don't hit. They're all a bunch of babies. So anyway, that's why the first few weeks of pro football is very difficult because the guys aren't ready. 90% of them are injured after the first game with the hips or the hamstrings or the knees because they're not prepared for the game speed and the action because they haven't practiced. They don't play in the preseason. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, college kind of gets away with it, but that. Any thoughts on the Louisville, Georgia? I like Louisville there. They got Braum back, the coach, and his son's the offensive coordinator. Georgia Tech sucks. I think Louisville should win. They should be very explosive, and they had a better defense last year. Do I bet preseason football? The only way I would bet it, no, I don't, would be like if the team has a couple of good quarterbacks. So like Frisco's got Brock Purdy. Now, I'm not a Trey Lance fan, but if it was normal and they played Purdy the first quarter and then Lance the second and third to see what he looks like, if you've got 2 good quarterbacks, then absolutely, because you're getting a good quarterback for half the game. That's what you're betting on. But otherwise, I'm not betting on third stringers. I mean, I can just watch the Tigers if I want to watch minor league baseball. Will I lose too much weight if I do the 18-hour fast? I lost 70 pounds, but I needed to lose 70 pounds. I don't know what you need to lose, Bobby. Put it like this. You want to go on, there's 2 things. The first one is to get healthy. Your blood pressure's high, your blood sugar's high, you're fat, you want to get into shape, you want to get your blood pressure down to 120. So that's your first motive. Now you've lost the weight and you're down to 120. Now I would adjust it and have a little ice cream here. I would still fast 18 hours because it's the autography. You want to have your body clean you out for any bad stuff. You got cancer cells, your body kills them. So you want to be healthy. So you got to think about it as healthy. So I do the 18-hour fast. Now, today I do it, but some days I miss dinner and then I do my swim and then I get home and I'm hungry. So I have a tea and I might have a plum or something. So I'm doing some stuff like that. I got cherries, so I have a little treat, or plums or blueberries. So I'm doing the blackberries were 75 cents. So I bought 4 of them. They're usually $2. Deflation for blackberries. So, but at first it was noon and 6, and that was it. And so it depends where you are at. The first thing is to get your blood pressure to 120. That's your first thing. That'll clean up your cholesterol, your blood sugar. It'll help your heart, your kidneys, your liver. So that's your first thing. Once to get that cleaned up, then you can kind of relax a little, but still stick mostly to the diet and always the 18 hours. Like I say, when I went to Barcelona, I ate breakfast at 9:30 because the breakfast closed at 10. So I ate at 9:30, and then we probably had dinner at 5 or 6. And then in the room, I had a little dark chocolate or something. But generally, you are not eating till noon. You have coffee or tea or water. And you just, without eating the crap, you don't have the urge to be hungry. When I'm eating ginger water, when I'm eating this shit, believe me, I'm not hungry, right? I'm having 3 or 4 glasses of it, and I can go till 2 o'clock before I eat. And then I have my omelet. I showed that to Jenna today. She's hungry, and I'm showing her, here's the onions, here's the chicken, here's the broccoli and the peppers. I start cooking it, and then I throw the 3 eggs on it, and here's my lunch. So I'm making an omelet. That's all I'm eating for lunch. So, but yeah, and then the omelet just fills you up, the eggs. So if you're eating the different foods, you're not eating Fritos and Oreos, the things that make you hungry. So you're not as hungry because you're not eating the hunger foods. But yeah, you'll lose weight. But if you're worried about losing too much, well, when you get thin, you don't want to be thin, then you kind of change some of the foods you eat. But I think it's still important to go noon to 6, or maybe noon to 7, or 11 to 6, or whatever. Maybe you fast 15 or 16 hours, but the fasting is critical because that keeps your body clean and healthy, and that's the most important. So it's 2 phases. Get down to 120 on your blood pressure, and I wouldn't worry about the cholesterol. I'll find a spot. I had 15 and 20 circled, but I don't think it's what I was looking, or it's a different video. So I'll find it for you. Well, there's much. Wait a minute. How many 18-hour fasts I need to clean out and reap the benefits? Well, where you at, Bobby? What's your blood pressure? I guess if you can tell me that. Mine was 180, and I was tired a lot. You have diabetes and high blood pressure when you have like Oreos and you are falling asleep, right? When you eat and go to sleep, you got diabetes, you got high blood pressure, you're in trouble. You should not fall asleep after eating, especially sugar will do that to you. So you got to kill the sugar and the carbs first. But if your blood pressure is 180, let's put it this way, Bob, you got to get your blood pressure to 120. The weight will fall off because your body, because it gets hungry, starts eating your fat because it needs something to eat because you're not feeding it that much, but you're still feeding it healthy. You're still eating avocados and you're feeding it eggs and veggies, and you're eating steaks and burgers and chicken. So you're eating extremely healthy. You're just, so you won't miss the food. You won't be too hungry. Blood pressure is usually 115, 68 or something like that, but occasionally, well, you're fine. So your blood pressure is fine. Yeah, so you're not 180, so you're fine. Your blood pressure is fine. So I would just do it for health reasons then. I would eat at noon. I would have your tea or coffee or water at 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Noon, have a big lunch. Just don't have carbs. And then 6 o'clock, go eat a steak and a salad, or ribs, or your pig's ears, or whatever you want, and that's your dinner. And then just if you're hungry after that, just have water or tea, and that. But your blood pressure's fine. I don't think you'd be too fat with that blood pressure. So yeah, you don't need to worry about your blood pressure. Your blood sugar is probably good too. So I would just do the 18 hours, just a normal part of that's your lifestyle. That's how mine is. I do it. I don't eat till about noon. Sometimes I eat 11:30. Depends what I got going on that day and if I'm on vacation. And then I can eat a couple of meals or snacks, but I eat it between the noon and 6. And then at 6, I'll have a hamburger, chicken. Like today, I had chicken breasts, and I ate it at 5:30. Then I went to the swim, and now I'm home, and I'm having the tea and had a few cherries, and that's it. But I'm not having a big meal now, and I'll have more water, and that's perfectly fine. I'll do the fat now. Every 2 or 3 months, and you hear me, I'll do a 72-hour fast to clean me out. Not to lose weight. I'm never trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get healthy. So, you start having a piece of pumpkin pie or chocolate cake or chocolate ice cream as a treat on a Sunday, then that's what the fasting is. But the 72-hour fast is strictly just for health reasons, just to get healthy, clean my body out. That's all I'm trying to do there. I'm not trying to lose weight. And I enjoy it. It really refreshes you. You're recharged. And, if you start gaining a few pounds because you're starting to eat ice cream or cake, then that knocks it out of you. So that's what I do. It's just that damn cholesterol. Don't worry about the cholesterol. I'll find it on the tape and show you the next time. So you have your coffee with no food, right? In the morning, yeah, I just have coffee. I have a cup of coffee and a cup of now the ginger tea, and maybe a couple cups, but that's perfectly fine. Your little guy starts waking up when you feed it food. That's what I want. The healthy part, I'm okay with the weight. Yeah, then that's all. You'll lose a little bit of weight, but like I said, you'll be extremely healthy, and you'll feel the difference when you get to the point where you're doing a 48-hour fast or 72-hour fast. You'll really feel the difference when you do 72-hour fast, and then you finally start eating. You'll have so much energy. You'll just it'll blow your mind. You're like, wow, that's exactly, and you don't do it often. You do it every 3-4 months, but it's all for health. But this way I know I'm eating well. I do try to stay away from the carbs. I do try to stay away from the sugars. But every once in a while I'll have an ice cream. I'll have chocolate eclairs or something. It's always a treat on a Sunday or something, right? Okay, I had a good week. The job's going well. The girlfriend's fine. Okay, I'll have an ice cream. But I don't eat the whole fucking thing. I grab like a one scooper or a chocolate eclair from the grocery store, and I have the one ice cream or the one piece of pie or cake, and that's it. I'm not eating the whole fucking cake. That's the difference. So have the one piece as a treat on a Sunday or something, but that's it. Or if I go to the casino, I don't know, I might have something there, or when I go to the barbecue place, but that's it. So that's how it works. But you're the little guy inside, you want to clean you out. And that's why you don't ever want to eat 5-6 meals a day. It's 2 meals, maybe a third, like a snack, an apple at 9 a.m. or something. It's tough on vacation, because they give you the buffet. So you feel like, okay. And you have omelets and bacon, which is very healthy. I try to stay away from the toast and the pancakes and stuff. So I'm eating like 5 eggs, bacon, and coffee with tea. And I even got olive oil and all that shit. And I basically, had a little roll. That was it. It was like, and a little bit of orange juice just on the vacation, but it's mostly every day. It's at least 3 or 4 eggs. You're just scooping the eggs and the bacon because that's what you can eat. And that's it. And that's 9:30, 10 o'clock, which you'd rather wait till noon, but you can't. And then you're not eating till the afternoon or something. But yeah, it's that's what it is. But when you get home, you're back to the 12-hour to refresh yourself. But it's extremely healthy. That's why I gave you the real channel, not the other guy. I don't know where you got the other guy from, but it's the bald guy, Stan. He's the decathlete from Sweden. And I'll tell you, he explains it really well, like I explain inflation. If they would explain inflation the way that guy did, everybody would understand it, but they don't want to. They try to make it difficult so you can't understand it. And then what do you say? Oh, they must be real smart. And they're not. That's the thing in The Big Short. The guy kept saying, these guys are a bunch of idiots. They're sitting there with these variable loans, and the stripper's taking out 5 loans on 5 houses in a variable, and she doesn't realize that the next year it turns in, the variable rate goes up and she's fucked, and she doesn't even understand that. So that's what ends up happening. People don't know what they're doing. It's like playing craps and not realizing the 7 comes. That's about the simplest way I can explain stocks and investing and everything. People do it, but it's like going to a crap table and not knowing when you 7 out, you lose if you play the pass line. So if your number is 6 and they throw the 7, you lose. And the odds are the 7's going to show. So don't be so surprised when the 7 comes. And that's what with Tesla stock, don't be surprised when it goes down because nobody's going to buy because of the high interest rate. So don't be so surprised because you don't know what you're doing. You're buying Tesla just to buy it because everybody's buying it because there's only a handful of stocks people are going in now because they got to get out of the banks. So they're taking the money out of the bank and they go, I don't know anything about stocks. I'll buy Tesla and I'll buy Apple and, okay. They'll fail too. Don't worry. So anyway, I think that's about it. I'm tired. And I'll get to bed in about an hour. And, I get up about 7:30. So a good 6-7 hours. And if I need to, I'll take a nap during my lunch hour. Alligator, just give the rock bottom to Peter Schiff. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Peter Schiff talks about it, but can't explain it. So if you took Peter Schiff to the crap table, he wouldn't know that you 7 out, right? He wouldn't know what the 7 is. And that's the problem. He's a sales. See, once you get the background of these guys, they're all stockbrokers. Stockbrokers are salesmen. They're not economists. This is why, bitch, I'm an economist. I can see their shit from a mile away. That's why I'm here for you guys, because you can't see their shit. You don't know what they're saying, if it's good, bad, or ugly. So I tell you, Alligator knows, and the other guy knows from Germany. What's his name? God, I can't think of our third guy. Aegon. So Aegon knows, and Alligator knows, and Andrew Maguire knows. The rest of these U.S. guys have no fucking clue. They're just trying to sell you, and they're all brokers or credit analysts, or Peter Schiff's just a broker. So they might know what Austrian economy is, and they might quote von Mises, or they might quote that. But why aren't they quoting Adam Smith and John and Say's Law and Invisible? Why aren't they quoting that? That's Austrian economics. The difference is, and always understand, is me and you. If me and Bobby want to go golfing, that's Austrian economics. We decide we want to go golf, and if we want to go get steaks for dinner, that's Austrian economics. We go and we find and we compete. There's 5 steak restaurants. We look at the prices and the quality, and we say, okay, we'll go here. In Keynesian economics or communist, the market is controlled by the government. And the government saying, well, this is the steakhouse to go to. That's what Canada is. That's what Russia is. That's what China is. They're communists. You're in Canada, you got to go to the state-run liquor store to get the price-fixed Canadian Club whiskey. You can't go like here. I can go to the different liquor stores, and now they're pretty much price-fixed, but I can go and at any time and go get liquor. God knows there's a ton of liquor stores, but not in Canada. You got to go to the government-run liquor store. That's what I mean. That's the problem, right? You want to buy gold, you got to go to the government-run bank. So there's too many government-run things not in the U.S., and that's what we're trying to avoid. That's why we're so prosperous, is we've had individuals in competition. That's why I scream about JP Morgan, and that's why I scream about the gold price not going anywhere, because it's not at free market. And yet everybody says, well, no, it's supply and demand. It ain't supply and demand. The Jerry Rice card, supply and demand, 134,000. The Joe Montana card, supply and demand, 100,000. Rolex is supply and demand, but not gold. And that's the problem. People think, well, it's only worth 2,000. And I keep screaming, it's worth every bit that Joe Montana card's worth. Gold's worth that at least, and then times 2. So that's my point. And that's the bottom line, because I said so. All right, everybody. What's today? Tuesday. So I guess I'll come back Thursday. I don't seem to get the people Friday afternoon because I get off at noon and I go to the gold store and I go to the pool and then I come back and it's like 4 o'clock and I get nobody. So I don't know if I'll do Friday afternoon. I can do Friday night, Saturday and Sunday I like, and then like tonight. So maybe I'll do Thursday night because it won't matter because Friday is a half day anyway. So maybe I'll do Thursday night and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'll do Friday once football's coming because we'll need to do a Friday show. Anyway, the site's all set. Everything's in. To avoid the IRS, I made if you bought the year pro, it's $599, not $600. So I won't get $1099. Like I can be clever just like them. Oh, if it's $600, they're going to $1099. Okay, $599. And if you want to do the more expensive full year, which is $750, you can give me a 3 and a 450. You can give me 3 250s. Not a problem. As long as I get the 750, you can do it that way. A lot of people give me the full amount. There's a few that do give me the payments, and I'm fine. As long as I don't have to run after you. Hey, you said August 1st. It's now the 20th. Where's the money that you said you're going to pay? So that's the only problem with that, but usually it's okay. They like the results, so they want the picks, so they pay. And most of the guys have been with me for years and years. I get a lot of, there's nobody in your league. And I'm aware there's nobody in my league. I should be charging a lot more, but I don't. I do want people to win. And I do help you with, it is based on your money, your bankroll. You got 10 grand, you got to bet accordingly and try to get 10 grand to 15 to 20 to 25. That's how you, as a professional gambler, that's how you gamble. You are doing that. You're not betting 5 grand on one game. That's not how a professional does it. You can't let one bet beat you. As good as we think these games are, they're not 100%. You can get injuries. You can get weather, turnover. The quarterback has a bad day or it's fixed. You can't control that, but it could happen. That's why you got to bet just chunk, and we're going to win. For 10 games, we're probably going to win 8. So you just keep winning 8 out of 10, and eventually the bankroll goes from 10 to 25. And then next year, your bankroll starts at 25 if you want. Or you buy a lot of gold and silver with it. All right, I'm going to bed. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it. I miss it when you're not on because I like the feedback and the help. So anyway, I guess why don't we shoot for Thursday night? And, so it's just hard working getting up early, working all day, and then trying to concentrate for this. But I think I wanted to hit the point of what the market is and what inflation and deflation is. This inflation has nothing to do with the $125,000 Montana card. It's $125,000. Really, the only thing the inflation should do is raise the price of gold, but it doesn't even do that because it's price fixed. But inflation is ruining this. That's what we know. And deflation, I don't know what it is. If the price of a house goes down, it's because of the interest rates. It's the price going down. It's not deflation. I mean, it's prices going down, and it's because interest rates going up because of the inflation. Inflation doesn't go down. I mean, it's just so stupid. Anyway, please be careful. Please buy your gold and silver now, because I got a feeling once that Johannesburg BRICS meeting takes place in August, I don't think we have much time left with gold and silver at these prices. So just be careful. Buy what you can, and we'll see what happens when August happens and September happens, where gold prices. I think it'll slowly go. I think it'll go to 2,500, 3,000, on its way to 5, on its way to 15, on its way to 25, on its way to 50, on its way to not in dollars, it's in gold now. Because once people realize they've been fucked, then they're all going to jump on board, and there's not enough gold to go around. There's really not. It's really limited. It's like if everybody was jumping on the Montana card, you would see another zero after it. Let's see if we can see, and then I'll go the Jordan rookie card. Let's see if we can get a real price. I thought it was $1.5 million. I mean, you can't even find it. See, now look at it's $1.5 million. This one's autographed and it's only getting 450,000. So there you go, thinking cards don't have a value. This is an autographed Jordan rookie. If it wasn't autographed and it was a PSA 10, there'd be a 1 in front of that 450. 450,000 for that. You can't find it. Here we go. Again, this is another signed rookie for 150,000. Let's see, let's go into sold, but I doubt there'll be much. Those were open, and there just wasn't that many. They start getting into like Clyde Drexler, like, no, I want Michael Jordan. Here, Chris Mullen. No, I asked for Michael Jordan, but since it's the 86 Flair, it brings in other 86 Flairs. It's very frustrating, eBay. Like, you're looking for Jordan and you can't find him. Gerald Wilkins. So you can see the card autographed was 450,000. So you can't even find the PSA 10. That's how rare it is. Here's a PSA 1 already getting 1,500 in an auction. PSA 1. How off center is that card? Or it must have bad corners. Here's a PSA 4 got 2,000. So that's why I say, and then Charles Barkley gets 10,000. That's what I mean by different markets. It's the same company. It's Barkley instead of Jordan. Jordan gets $1 million. Barkley gets 9,000. Dumar's 1,400. See, then you got to be careful. This is a 2006. Well, we don't want that. It's a remake. It's a fucking remake, and it gets $2,000. Wow, these are open. Anyway, just curious on that, Jordan. So understand most of this news is bullshit. Inflation's not down. The ship's sinking. It's not, all of a sudden it's not sinking. The Titanic's going to be okay. I know it's full of water, but, it's going to be okay because, we said it's going to be okay. And if we say it's going to be okay, it's really not going to sink, even though all the water is in the boat and we're all fucked. But, it's really not going to sink. So inflation, they didn't fix it. That's why they're still going to raise interest rates. And it's just, it's not a good sight. This deflation is just simply interest rates going up. So the price has to go down to sell it at the same spot because of the higher interest rates. So there's no inflation. There's no deflation. Deflation's prices going down. It's just the market. If all of a sudden the Montana went to 80,000, that's not deflation. That's the market saying, I'm not going to give you 100,000. Well, that's just the market. That's what the market is. It changes all the time. So even though you paid 100 for it, you might not only be able to sell it for 80. That's the market. There's nothing you can do. This is certainly not deflation. Deflation is just higher interest rates causing houses and cars to have to go down to cover the higher interest rates. It's all bullshit. Anyway, don't listen to these morons. Listen to the professor. I will guide you. All right. I'm going to sleep. Well, I'm going to turn on some TV. Have a good night. I guess I'll see you Thursday about this time. And please, if you have questions or comments, I read the news a lot. I watch YouTube, but I'm getting real tired of YouTube because it's the same bullshit. These guys don't have anything new to say except for Alligator and Egon. Like when I watch this Liberty guy, he takes him an hour to ask a question, and the problem is half his guests are just brokers who don't know what they're doing, and they don't know what they're saying. So there's the gold-backed currencies coming because all the paper currencies are going to zero because they have to, because they're not backed by anything. So you keep printing till zero, and the Keynesians or communists are out printing, thinking, oh, we'll just keep printing, without realizing you can't. You got to back it by gold. They don't like gold. They're basically bankrupting the whole world. And so the only way out of the bankrupt world is gold and silver. So that's all I can say about it. That's what's happening. All right. Have a nice night. I will see you on Thursday. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day. Again, we're betting Verlander. If he's playing another ace, go under. Scherzer. And Bobby, I thought you were going to play for the Mets against the Dodgers on Sunday with Verlander going. I bet on the Dodgers or Mets because I thought you were playing. Anyway, and then McCullough, just bet on him. So if I'm not here when we're doing it, just look at the pitchers and you're betting the pitchers. But if any of them are playing another ace, just bet the game under. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.